WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and there are only 8 teams left in this here tournament. And we don't have as much change around here as many folks wanted. This guy in his world, not just at Fox Sports Radio where he does national radio and has forever, but as one of the longtime advocates and pre- and post-game and field guys for the Oakland Raiders, soon to be the Las Vegas Raiders, I thought it would be a good reach to bring on my dear friend John Turnauer, JT the Brick, from Fox Sports Radio on to discuss all things John Gruden. They fired my boy Jack Del Rio out there, didn't they? This is all a big cash grab for Vegas. That's just the outside of me yelling. I sort of get what they're doing, but I don't know that it's going to win more football games, JT.
Well, it's sorry to see Jack go because I know you knew him well, and I was getting to know him well, and really a classy guy and a guy who helped the organization get back to a level where they need to be to win. And, 12-win season the year before, he had a banged-up quarterback, tried to bring in certain coaches and guys to fix it, and it was just a down year. He's out, Gruden comes in, and obviously Gruden is a long-term hire by Mark Davis to bridge the gap from Oakland to Las Vegas and try to win a championship in the next couple of years, something that I thought Jack Del Rio had going and had the team on the right track to do that.
Well, I mean, in going through this, Brick, there's a lot to peel back in the onion here. It is an unprecedented thing for them taking their franchise over to Las Vegas. Davis is a very, very unique cat, much like his old man. There's been a 15-year longing on this Gruden thing of the guy that got away and what happened after he got away and that day out in San Diego where I think I was with you that day.
Yep.
Where Gruden came back and got sort of the last laugh. This has been concocted for a long time, and Gruden has danced with everyone. But for Gruden, it was always about making a lot of money and getting a situation, and he was always going to be the flavor of early January and Black Monday and all of that. I wonder why this was right for him right now, but it certainly is a lot of money. It's a situation where he's going to have all the power and all that stuff that he wants, and it really has some sex and some sizzle moving to Vegas in the next 3-4 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Vegas move is a big part of everything going forward, period, because that's where the franchise is going. They got at least one more season in Oakland, a possible season after that, and, the goal of this franchise is to win for the next 30 or 50 years and have a secure franchise with the state-of-the-art stadium, similar to what Dallas has, San Francisco now has in Santa Clara, Minnesota will be for the Super Bowl. I mean, look, when the Vikings have a better stadium than the Oakland Coliseum compared to what the Raiders have accomplished in their Super Bowls and what the Vikings have, it's not right. And Mark Davis couldn't get the deal done in Oakland. He tried and tried. The Oakland politicians, as we've talked about on your show before, are just the worst politicians in sports history. They couldn't come to an agreement on a deal, and now the Raiders will move to the entertainment capital of the world that has everything from NASCAR, the rodeo, hockey, UFC, boxing. It's going to be a really good fit. The fit would have been, obviously, for the Raiders to stay in Oakland for the next 100 years. Now they're going to the next best spot, Las Vegas. It's not like we're taking the Raiders and moving them to Tulsa. Nothing's wrong with Tulsa. It's not like we're moving the Raiders to San Antonio. It's not like the Raiders are moving to some suburb in the Pacific Northwest. They're going to Las Vegas. Who doesn't have a good time in Las Vegas? Who doesn't want to win in Las Vegas? But the fact is they got to win in Oakland first because there's a lot of diehard fans that that have been through a lot, Ness, and they need to see a playoff berth again. They need to see Derek Carr get fixed. They need to get back on track again, and John Gruden is clearly the only guy to do that.
He is JT the Brick. You can follow him at JT the Brick out on Twitter as well as at the Fox Sports Radio Network. He'll be out in Minnesota with us for Super Bowl 52. A couple weeks from now, I am putting together the Ray Lewis Canton Hall of Fame bus. Ray will be getting voted in. I'm sure John Gruden will be the toast of Minnesota if he shows up for 5 minutes. This is a fascinating case study on winning, Brick, right? And on reputation. And Gruden was worth more to the Davis family and to the Raiders franchise than anywhere else, maybe this side of Tampa Bay, right? And Tampa made their run at him as well. You know, for him in taking this gig right now, how does he come back better than he was last time? Because he wasn't a very good football coach in Tampa at the end. And maybe this downtime has done him well. Certainly, he's tried to embed himself throughout the league. His brother's been coaching in the league all this time and running the Redskins. He's gotten to talk to every quarterback, every coach, had full access and everything. I'm interested to see how that becomes a weapon for him beginning right away next year. Will he win football games because of what he did at ESPN? I wonder that.
Yeah, it's fair, and he was a really good coach. And what happened in Tampa, remember, after Tampa won the Super Bowl and beat the Raiders, there's 2 points to bring up. First off, Tony Dungy could never have done that. So for those who say John Gruden won with Tony Dungy's players, that's ridiculous. John Gruden was so good, he went into Philadelphia, where Tampa never won a game in sub-32 degrees and won. John Gruden went into the Super Bowl where we were together and played scout quarterback the entire week leading up to the Super Bowl, knew the Raiders' plays, played quarterback in practice as Rich Gannon, and easily beat the Raiders. Tony Dungy never would have done that. Then after the Tampa Bay Bucks won the Super Bowl, they started to dismantle that team. As you know, that was an aging team that was kept together for Tampa Bay with Derek Brooks and John Lynch and go down Warren Sapp and all those players. They started breaking that team up, and he had quarterbacks like Jeff Garcia, Chris Sims, Bruce Gradkowski. He had nothing. He had nothing there. So imagine where John Gruden would be when he had to start in Green Bay with the likes of Brett Favre and great quarterbacks along the way. Even Rich Gannon was not a great quarterback until Gruden got him and turned him into an MVP. So the key is now he gets Derek Carr, who just secured a $125 million contract, $75 million guarantee, and Carr isn't right. He's got Mack, who I think, out of all due respect to Ray Lewis, because it's Ray Lewis and Lawrence Taylor, the two best players I've ever seen in my life on defense are Lawrence Taylor and Ray Lewis. This kid, Khalil Mack, is insane. He has the body, the speed to be the next Ray Lewis. And he's a young player, and Gruden gets him. Amari Cooper and a couple of good pieces on that offensive line. Gruden will have the opportunity to change that team quickly and get them back to double digits again, where last year the schedule was brutal, injury still to Carr, who came back in a couple of weeks after he should have been out for 8 weeks, and everything fell apart. So is Gruden a good coach? Absolutely. Is he a master motivator? And he had tremendous access to the league while he was at ESPN, unprecedented access to the league, film, all the teams' film, all the teams' interviews with their coaches as he's putting his coaching staff together. So I think it's going to work because I believe in John Gruden.
He is JT the Brick. You can find him out on Twitter at JT the Brick, as well as at Fox Sports Radio. All of our WNST programming brought to you by our friends at Deli-ish on Wise Avenue in Dundalk. New York-style deli down there with the Reubens and lean corned beef and those legit sandwiches like the Curly Fryer. Tasty pickles, they cater in. DeliBaltimore.com. Probably not a bad place for the championship games next week or the division. Bring in some catering there. D&O Window Tinting. They've been tinting everything. Cars, boats, and businesses for 26 years. They put the shades on the sun and they take away the squint. They're in Parkville and in White Marsh. Go and see them before it snows next time to get all that glare going on. JT, for you in this tournament right now and looking at these 8 teams and watching the likes of the Buffalo Bills play last week, we're licking our wounds around here. I mean, the Raiders had higher expectations than even the Ravens this year, and now turmoil, turnover, all of that. You know, bottom line is they didn't play very good football. You know, the 53 guys they put on the field this year, did they?
No, they didn't. And one thing about you guys with Baltimore, I mean, the Andy Dalton play will live on longer than it should, because not only did it knock out a Baltimore team that we know, it was at least in the DNA of the Ravens, can go into New England and not be scared and play hard defense. But again, it started the Buffalo fascination with the Andy Dalton Foundation, where the Bills fans kept it going with Andy Dalton. I'm still looking back saying, John Harbaugh and that defense, how do you not stop a fourth down play like that over the middle of the field? Let me ask you, you've been through the great moments and some of the low moments. You texted me about the Jacksonville win in London being the low moment in franchise history. Where do you put the Andy Dalton fourth down conversion?
Well, I mean, we shanked a field goal to go to the Super Bowl too. We had the Billy Cundiff moment. We had a loss back in 2006. It won't mean anything to you, but it was the year that Billick and McNair, they were 13-3. We had a bye. We played the Colts and got our asses kicked. 15-6. It was a field goal game. Peyton Manning came in here, and McNair looked old and never really recovered from that. That was like the ultimate home loss here, where everybody was all lubed up and expecting to win and expecting to go to the Super Bowl. So we've had some devastating losses, but from a regular season standpoint and from the foundation of the franchise, really. I mean, keep in mind, we're not like any other franchise, JT. I mean, we're on our second owner, and we still have the original football guy. Now think about that, right? Mm-hmm. Ozzy's the only guy who's ever picked a football player for this franchise in 22 years. I mean, there's no other place like that, right? And we've had three coaches, and we've had, one quarterback for 11 years. We've had Hall of Fame players. There's no itchy trigger finger to blow up football or to blow up the coach or to go down and demand that all the coordinators get fired. That doesn't happen here. And on the way downstairs after that play, I'm sitting next to Luke. My jaws, dropped. I've lost out on all the barbecue in Kansas City, Brick, and you know that I hated that part of it. And I walked downstairs, and I thought, Harbaugh might get fired. I mean, this might be a nuclear moment when you don't make the playoffs for the fourth out of 5 years, 3 years in a row, and you just couldn't stop a 4th and 12 at home on New Year's Eve against the Cincinnati Bengals, and 30,000 seats in the stadium are empty. I mean, the bigger problem for the Ravens right now, Brick, isn't really as much on the field as it is off the field here with the knee and empty seats and angry PSL holders. You're out there, in Las Vegas right now. One of the things you said before we even came on the air was part of this Gruden thing is they got to sell PSLs in 2018 and 19 and 20 in Las Vegas. If they had to sell PSLs in Baltimore starting tomorrow morning, it wouldn't be getting done here. The Ravens would be moving to Vegas, dude. Seriously. And we've seen 3 franchises move here in the last 24 months. So, things worry me for the franchise that are even larger than Flacco or Harbaugh, although they understand they need to win. It's much like the Oakland situation where, they need to win and they need to do this and that, but what they really need to do is sell sizzle in Las Vegas and sell PSLs, because that's what's in front of that franchise right now, in the same way that the Patriots are in front of, ESPN's writing bad things about me and we might be breaking up the band. Every franchise is going through some weird sort of pressure or turmoil right now this week,
Yeah, and that's why I was pretty upset over the weekend watching football, because my scenario was the only way to beat the Patriots, because I don't think you'll beat them in the Super Bowl. You got to keep them out of the Super Bowl. And I thought the toughest test for New England would have been back-to-back games at home against Kansas City and Pittsburgh. Between those two teams, Kansas City already beat them to open up the season. Kansas City was up 21-3. They looked awesome in the first half of that game against the Titans. I would have guessed, and I would have said it on my show starting tonight, that the Patriots don't win the AFC if they have to play Kansas City and Pittsburgh back-to-back. Now, once again, New England with the easier road. They're going to play a Titans team that most likely, had their cake and ate it too in Kansas City and got up for that. It was a great win. I don't expect them to show up. If they do, I'll be shocked in New England. So New England will get a second bye week, and they'll watch Pittsburgh and Jacksonville get after it. And Jacksonville physically is the one team that matches up well with Pittsburgh's offensive line and Ben Roethlisberger. Those two teams are going to beat the hell out of each other, and whoever wins is going to go to New England and probably lose. So my goal now is to stop the Patriots. My goal now is to make sure that we're not in Minneapolis doing another Patriots preview for a week, which I've done for the majority of my career. I want to see this team get beat. I want to see someone else come in there and do it. And right now, the only team I think has the ability to get it done is the Pittsburgh Steelers and your friend Mike Tomlin.
The Vikings story's great, though, right? Like, if Atlanta were to beat Philadelphia, and they're favored on the road with Matt Ryan going home to Philly this week, if Atlanta actually wins on Saturday, on Sunday the Vikings are playing for an opportunity to play at home and win a Super Bowl at home and never leave home. That's really an incredible thing, right?
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, we talk about this every so often. How's the team going to do it? And it's not going to happen in Miami. It could happen in New Orleans with Drew Brees. It could possibly happen in Atlanta with Matt Ryan. But this is legit. And, I'm not a big believer that Case Keenum is going to play great football. Like, I don't think Nick Foles is going to play great football. Like I said, that Jared Goff wouldn't play great football in his first playoff appearance. We'll see. The Vikings have it all set now. Their defense is good. Their running game is good. Their physicality is off the charts. It's just a question, do you believe that Case Keenum is good enough to run the table, get to the Super Bowl, win it when he gets there? I live in Vegas. I'd bet against that.
He is JT the Brick. He does live in Vegas. He's over in the Bay Area often as well. And Brick, I must say that on Sunday night, I'm on Facebook. Like you're my Facebook friend, and you and I have bent a couple of elbows in Vegas over Stone shows and other things as well. I had you, my buddy Scotty P, and my buddy Mike C all sitting at the Vegas Golden Knights Rangers game, and I thought, man, 3 random friends of mine all in the same hockey rink at the same time in Las Vegas. Times have changed in Vegas where you can catch a hockey game, right?
I'll tell you, my friend, it's incredible what's happening out here with hockey. I was at the Caps game, the Ovechkin game, the shutout, and not only is this team winning, they're beating all the great teams. They're shutting some of them out. They're dominating. They got Fleury in goal, so whenever they do get a 1-goal lead or a 2-goal lead, they got a Hall of Famer in net, so those leads are safe. They have 4 lines. Here's what's interesting, because you know hockey. The way they built this team is so unique. The first line is as good as the fourth line. The fourth line is as good as the second line. They're all the same, so the team is loaded across. So as other teams have a great first line and a second line, but their fourth line is weak, as other teams have a really good first and second defenseman, but the back-end defensemen aren't really good, this team is above average everywhere, but with a great goaltender, and they're hungry. And, dude, it's an inaugural season. It's not like, they've been around 3 years. They're still kind of new. They're filling up the rink, and they're winning. This is the first season.
Yeah, dude, it's a Sandlot. This is a pond team they threw together. McPhee out there, what he couldn't do here in D.C. for all those years. It is... it's the greatest expansion team I've ever seen early on, and time will tell, and for season tickets and all that stuff, and how the Raiders have to go into that market. But, hey, dude, at some point I'm bringing my wife out to see Bruno Mars, so hold on to your hat, okay?
Well, that's another great show. That's at the Park Theater, which is right next to T-Mobile, an MGM property, so they put this brand-new arena right next to T-Mobile. It's wild what's going on here, but the Raiders are still a couple of years away, and you will be out here with your radio show for the Super Bowl. You think the Super Bowl's fun? Wait till the Super Bowl's in Las Vegas 4 or 5 years from now when they get into the rotation and you're coming out here to do a week for the Super Bowl. This place is on fire.
All that and legal weed, too. It's crazy out there, Brick. Be well, man. We'll see you soon, my brother.
Take care, my friend.
All right, man. I hope you love football, as they say, with John Gruden. Of course, Brick knows John Gruden pretty well from the first time around. JT the Brick, you can find him out on Twitter and at Fox Sports Radio. You can find me out in the BuyAToyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. The morning newspaper ships digitally to your email inbox free of charge each and every morning at 7 a.m. That's all brought to you by our friends at Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com, where it's still $10 a month. Never any commitment. 2018. Perfect to get in shape at Planet Fitness. Last but never least, any breaking news happens first on our WNST Tech Service. That's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis Colazzos will be here on Thursday, driving you home from 3 until 5. It is the SSV on WNST. I am re-releasing Purple Rain 2, all 24 chapters, out at WNST.net, one a day every day, for the 5th anniversary of the Ravens Super Bowl 47 victory. Now we get Super Bowl 52, and number 52 is going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We're also running a bus trip out to Canton, Ohio in August. Throw me an email. We'll get you on that. nasty@WNST.net. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, anywhere the internet travels. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.